All right, welcome to the Groth Gets It Podcast. I am here with one of our clerks for the summer. It's at the end of the summer already. It's kind of shocking. We start the podcast like we start depositions. Please say your name and spell your last name for the record.
My name's Olivia. My last name's Zaluckj, Zaluckkyj.
And you are a 2L at Marquette Law.
Yes.
Why Marquette Law?
I went far away for undergrad, and so when I was applying to law school, my mom was really persistent on having me apply somewhere near home, which is in Illinois. So Marquette was the only school in the Midwest I applied to. And then my brother got into UW-Madison vet school, and then I was kind of getting a little homesick, so I toured it, fell in love with the building and the professors that I met, and decided on Marquette.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're halfway through your legal journey.
Yeah. Well, almost.
Law school journey.
In December.
Yeah. Okay. In December is halfway through.
Yeah.
Okay. That's exciting. Okay. All right. Let's go. We're going to talk about clerkships, careers, and the practice of law. So those are our general topics. I have my agenda here. I've not been good about staying on the agenda, so I apologize in advance. Let's talk about things that you haven't done here, which is international law and real estate law. And
Yeah.
I know you're interested. We're a personal injury firm, so it's a little bit different world as it relates to those laws and these. They're our practice areas. All right, let's. Man, there's so much I want to talk about with the international law. Off the record, we had you talk in Ukrainian, and remind me. Hello is
Privyt.
Privyt.
Yes.
Privyt. So Privyt, Olivia. There we go. Now I can speak Ukrainian. Okay, so first I think you're going to ask me questions.
Yes.
What questions do you have of me?
As someone exploring real estate or international law, what types of early legal experience help build clarity around a long-term career path?
Man, so I wanted to be an international lawyer.
Oh, really?
Really. It didn't last very long. I took Latin in high school, so I didn't have the language skills that you do. So that's why it's interesting to know somebody who can say Privyt. I certainly can't. In Latin, I don't even know what hello would be. Man, I could spend the next 5 minutes thinking about it, or I could just maybe Google it. But I never got that good at my languages that I was going to go, or that I could go into international law. My recommendation is if you can use the program at Marquette and go overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
I know back in the day when I was there, they had a really strong program with Australia, where a lot of students went down to Australia. I went to Japan, which was awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was through New Orleans. It was Loyola New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Professor Rosen was the professor. Professor Port was the professor. I think he recently passed. He was a professor at Marquette who had a friend who was at Loyola. And in conjunction, they sent a bunch of us over to Japan. We studied at Doshisha University in Kyoto. It was awesome. It was lots of fun, very informative. But that's what I would say: is you use those people, just the connections, really, that Marquette's going to provide to get you somewhere else, to have that in your back pocket and put it on your resume. That's international law. Real estate. Good luck with real estate. I'm not sure what to tell you. I did some real estate law right out of law school. I worked for a general practice law firm. I was not a big fan of it, just simply because I'm not the kind of person that can sit in an office looking at documents all day.
Yeah.
And now knowing where AI is going,
Yeah.
I really don't know, and that's a question, it would be a fantastic question for a real estate lawyer, what they believe AI is going to do to their practice, and whether, for common real estate needs, if you're even going to need lawyers, I'm not quite sure. More of the complex stuff, I think, is certainly a thing where you're going to have lawyers deal with the complex REITs or whatever kind of REITs is a real estate investment trust. Those kind of very complex vehicles, financial vehicles. But yeah, so good question.
Thank you.
So the point behind that is go overseas, use the opportunities the Marquette gave you, and then, experience getting a job where you can have good experience doing that stuff. Cool. All right. Next question.
Have you seen clerks or young attorneys use experiences outside their intended field to grow their skills in surprising ways?
In surprising ways. I think you don't know what you like until you try it. So I think the surprising way is there are some clerks that have come here and clerked, and they're like, I never want to do this ever in my life. Mm-hmm. And I think that surprised them that they don't want to do personal injury law, which I'm glad they understood that. Mm-hmm. My personal experience was, like I just said, I went into a general practice firm and I got to dip my toe in the water of all these different kind of practice areas, and some practice areas I did not want to do. It was fun for me to do small claims collection work because you're literally thrown into the wolf den or the tiger pit or whatever you want to call it of small claims court. Yeah. And you have to think on your feet and figure out what's happening. Are people coming? When they're screaming at you, how do you react? Who are your friends? Who are your enemies? Who will be helpful? All those kind of things. So that's good to know. Have I seen clerks succeed in surprising ways, kind of thing? I've seen, because we've been doing this for a while, I've seen clerks who have clerked for me and are now partners in relatively large firms that have nothing to do with personal injury, and that's fantastic. Hopefully they got a sense of what they didn't want to do when they were here, and they went on to, they, in my mind, are very successful and are doing great things. So I think that's the fun of law, is you're literally practicing law along the way from day one until the last day you practice law, and you can change really at almost any given time, depending on whether you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, right? Whether you're willing to be a lifelong learner or not. And being a lifelong learner is so important. No matter where you are in your legal practice, you could pivot and go on.
Yeah. Well, I think personal injury has a lot of I know that from working at a firm in Florida and here, I think it's also just equipped me with some basic life skills on being in an accident and stuff like that. There's things that I know about my insurance that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And same with learning about insurance. I think that's something that from working at a personal injury firm, looking back at torts or any class, really insurance is a big part of all aspects of law. Yeah. So I feel whether or not I want to do personal injury, I feel there's a lot of things you can, and plus there's always car accidents. So.
That's true. In theory, until the robots take over the world, and we're just like Wall-E sitting in our chairs and getting fed by robots. I think it is important to understand that even, let's say, real estate, we do a lot of premises liability. Mm-hmm. And so when you're advising your clients who own real estate about what their risk might be, then what structure are you going to have? For this building, is that going to be a separate LLC? Right. Who's the insurance? What kind of insurance? When you have a landscape management company that's cutting the lawn or removing the snow, what are those contracts say about their responsibilities? Do they have insurance? All those things are things that you can learn, and that's why it's practicing law, because you're practicing and understanding how everything is really complex, and that's why we have jobs. Yeah. Cool. Next.
What's your advice to law students who are still narrowing down their legal interest during a clerkship?
Try everything. I think that really simply. Try everything. Go. This is a secret. No one really knows this, but lawyers like to talk about themselves. Yeah. Lawyers like to give advice and like to hear themselves talk. Most lawyers do. I think that's might be. I'm breaking the rules here by saying that, but so ask. Just go out to lunch with different people. If it's and people, lawyers at big firms, small firms, may not get back to you. But now with LinkedIn being so prevalent, I think you could contact an attorney who's very experienced in some area that you might want to get experience in, and they'd be happy to share their knowledge with you. And then again, use the professors that are out there and their experience, because I mean, my professors taught lawyers who are now judges and appellate judges. I ran into a appellate judge at State Fair the other day.
Oh yeah, Jim was saying that.
Just walked in. Here he is, and he was a couple of grades behind me in law school.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have people in your class that are going to quit law. Some are going to work at Barnes and Noble selling books, and others are going to be professors and judges. So use that their connections and their experience to kind of help you understand what you want to do.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answered your question. I
That
kind of
did.
went on a tangent there. So.
What skills or habits do you think help young attorneys thrive, no matter what area they end up in?
Young attorneys have something that other attorneys don't, and that's time.
Mm-hmm.
So using your time wisely and taking full advantage of that time is what's going to help you really succeed. Because attorneys, and this is from personal experience, right now I'm dealing with vendors for the law firm.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with, I have a deposition today, marketing, which is this podcast right now, and I have a phone call with clients this afternoon. I have all those different things, and I'm getting ready for a trial that's going to take place in a month and a half.
Yeah.
So that's a lot going on. Whereas if I was a young attorney, I wouldn't have most of those responsibilities. I could just get ready for the trial, right? So it's something where if you're using your time wisely and taking full advantage of what your firm or your employer offers you, that I think is going to help you succeed. Yeah.
That's a good answer. Do you think entrepreneurship plays a role even in more traditional areas of law?
In more traditional areas of law. Well, so this was the way that I always thought of my practice. If I was an associate or owner, that I had my own silo. I had my own practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go to these CLEs, or I'd go to talks about business owners or entrepreneurs or such, and I would look at that knowing that I didn't own the business, but my mindset was, okay, I may not know all the numbers of the business, but if I look at my caseload and what I'm doing, if this was my business, how could I grow it? And then you grow that within somebody else's practice, and then hopefully your employer recognizes that and says, "Oh man, okay, this attorney has that growth mindset." Which I like saying because my last name's Groth, but growth mindset. So you have that, and then you're really indispensable because you're somebody that the firm can rely on to build business, and that's and it has the knowledge and acknowledges what it takes to help run a business. So I think that's important, no matter if you're doing real estate, international law, or whatever you're doing. I mean, if you're working at a big firm in downtown Chicago, Milwaukee, or what have you, and you have Harley Davidson as your client, you still have to schmooze.
Yeah.
You still have to talk to the powers that be at Harley to maintain that that relationship, and then expand that relationship, and maybe you'll get Harley in a part of Milwaukee Tool or whatever business is. When you're doing that, that's going to help you succeed if it's intellectual property, international law, or whatever. Now
I have some fun questions.
Okay, fun questions.
Yeah.
I may choose not to answer the fun questions. I don't know what they are.
No, these are good.
Okay, good.
If you weren't running a law firm, what would you be doing instead?
What would I be doing instead? I think I do sales. Today, I think I do sales.
You would be a good salesperson.
I'm not quite sure, like used cars or boats.
Boats would be good.
Boats, maybe boats. No, I always thought that there's a lot of similarities between owning a business, starting a business, and sales.
Yeah.
Because you're, in essence, I'm selling the brand of Groth
Yeah.
Law. I'm selling early on, I was selling myself, my time and talents. And now you're selling the brand of Groth Law, which is the same as selling a product. So I think maybe sales.
Yeah, my dad owns a company, and I feel like this might be similar. Like wherever we go, even if it's like the bank, it's still like you're still basically selling yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's like you want to have a good reputation wherever you go, where it's like, for me, if I'm like in a bad mood and maybe I don't say, which I don't do, say thank you or something like that, no one's going to think anything of it. But it's like if you're a known business owner in the area, if I'm working at Starbucks and you don't say thank you, I would be like, oh,
who's that guy?
Yeah, I'd be like, who is that?
Why is that person so rude? Well, so there's a story. There's an attorney who talks about, what was it? It was going out on like the week before Christmas. So it was December, and he was getting, I think it was he, was getting maybe breakfast. I think it was some like small meal, and he gave a $100 tip and didn't write his name, didn't give a card, just it was him, but he was an attorney who advertised.
Yeah.
And gave a $100 tip just because it was the holiday. And years later, that waiter or waitress, I don't recall which, that person who got the tip remembered him and the kindness. And when that person was had a relative, I think, who was involved in a really horrible crash, they called him just because of that one act of kindness.
Yeah.
Right. So you never know, and people are watching. And
right.
If you do any kind of mass marketing like we do, people sadly are watching what you, how you react, and what you give as a tip, or who you say hi to, or whether you have a smile on your face or not. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Okay. What's your go-to coffee order?
Oh, well, I mean, this is the typical every single day. It's a Stone Creek coffee. Love Stone Creek coffee, local Milwaukee business. Just their light roast with an ounce of half and half and honey.
Oh.
And I don't recall if it's like 14. Am I in trouble? No, I'm just saying. Do you want some coffee? Is that what you're saying? No? I thought you were raising your hand saying, I have a coffee order too.
I was just saying, after this flip,
you ask me questions.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, but we're having fun with these.
Yeah, these are fun questions.
So, and it's something like 14 milliliters or something. I don't recall what they put in as the honey, but so honey, half and half, honey,
light roast,
and light roast. Go to.
So,
and that's what I like about Stone Creek is you can ask them for light roast, and every day it's a different kind of light roast.
Oh, I didn't know
some
that.
days it's horrible because it does not.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But today's roast was great. I don't know what it is, but it's great. And then some days it's like so good that I'll actually walk back and say, what kind is this? And I'll order a pound because it's
Stone Creek
amazing.
is good. There's one downtown too.
Yeah.
I know during finals, that's my treat. Stone Creek coffee in the mornings and sometimes at lunch.
Which one downtown by the Amtrak station? Yeah. So that has a fireplace?
Yeah.
That one's cool.
It's a good place to go study too if I want to get out of the law school and stuff. And they have good food.
Yeah. And I think they do lessons there, like barista classes you can
they
take.
do.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. All right. I have to ask you questions now?
Yes.
Boy, you're getting ordered around. We're just having fun, and then we have to stop and now go back to our script. All right, good questions. Hopefully this resonates with law students and young lawyers alike. Let's see some questions for you. What surprised you most about clerking at Groth Law so far?
Well, I think my prior experience in personal injury was at like a really, really small law firm with maybe like 7 people and 2 attorneys. So I think while this is still like a mid-sized, smaller firm, like coming here with way more people than 7 people and seeing how everyone kind of like works together. Like we have intake, we have the medical records department, we have the paralegals, the attorneys, and like Nancy and like Jackie, and everyone just like working together, and everyone's like really eager to help each other. So kind of seeing how all the moving parts come together to make it run so that everyone can still do their assigned job, I think is cool to see, especially being able to compare it to like a way smaller firm was probably the coolest part.
Okay, cool. Good. So something's working. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that you've been given a lot of discovery and litigation help, so thank you for all that help. What things did you learn doing discovery, interrogatories and case reviews and things like that?
I think the craziest part of like doing discovery was learning that like the script that we have to answer, how it's like very like objection, blank, 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 and that kind of stuff. And then also figuring out what to respond to certain questions was really interesting. I remember like the first one that Morgan, the other law clerk, and I did, we were like, what do we respond to this? Like, I have no idea. But now if we get assigned to do discovery or interrogatories, I can read a question and be like, I know that it's going to have, an attorney work product response or a premature response and that kind of stuff. So figuring out what kind of questions like maybe defense asks and how we respond and putting those 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. So you're practicing.
Yeah.
You're getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And it's really issue spotting, right?
Yeah.
As a law,
right.
As a law student, we're from day one. I think if they discuss issue spotting, this is what you have to figure out. Yeah. Cool. All right. What do you think was the most challenging assignment you've had so far?
One of the other law clerks and I had to write a brief, which we've done in legal writing and stuff like that, but I think the format that we do in legal writing, we're kind of assigned a prompt that has a yes or no kind of response, and then we're kind of given cases. So I think that like writing a brief here, it's our first time kind of doing it super hands-off, and the whole research assignment is up to us. We have to formulate an argument. Like, we're not getting help from our professor in class or other classmates. So I think that was the hardest part. But working with someone who's also in law school, who's, had a different professor and has a different like outlook on approaching questions and stuff, we were able to get it done. But I remember the first day we were like, how are we going to do this? But we got it done. So
the power of collaboration.
Yes.
I think that key word there. Cool. All right. Okay, we use FileVine. We're big fans of FileVine. What are your thoughts on that case management system and I guess your experience at the other firm with case management systems?
Yeah, I think FileVine's amazing.
Okay.
The other firm I worked at.
So hopefully we get a discount from FileVine if you're listening.
Because we're shouting it out, because I think that every firm should use it, because at the other firm I was working at, the demands that you can whip out in FileVine in a couple of seconds were ones that took weeks to write, like handwriting. And then same with like the medical itemization report, like being able to cull through medical records and the cost of each visit. That was done by hand in an Excel spreadsheet where we had to like formulate tables and stuff. So I think seeing that you can just plug in all the records and generate it in a couple of seconds, you have a full medical itemization report versus hand adding and subtracting and doing all of that stuff was definitely huge. And then also too, just how much you can put in FileVine and how organized you can make it was really cool too, because I know that the other software that the firm I was at was using, it was very old school where all documents were just in one page and you kind of had to like sort through and be really mindful about what you were naming everything, because that mattered. If I need a medical bill, I need to know that it's going to be titled this so that I can find it out of the thousands of documents that are in a client's file. And we also had paper documents at the other firm, so I think going paperless is huge, because we had it's a whole room of files where that space that could be used for another person to be sitting in there where it was for files.
Yeah.
So
you don't have much paper but by your desk.
No.
I mean, there's not much paper at all.
No, I think maybe I'll print something off if it's something I'm reading and I don't want to read it on the screen, or like the discovery responses for interrogatories and requests to produce. Like I have those printed because those are something I'm using all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't think I've really printed out much.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and it's interesting that you're in this time because, LLMs, artificial intelligence, has really came about in the past couple of years. So right as you entered law school, it's here.
Yeah.
It's really used. And,
right.
And that's what, with FileVine, we have AI and sidebar, and, you can kind of talk with the case.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. So hopefully you're using that.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. All right. I think this is my last question. I was trying to make it my last question. How has this clerkship helped you think about what kind of legal environment you want to go off and work in?
I think coming into like the summer, I knew I didn't really want to work in like big law, and I think that this kind of reaffirmed that, just because I feel like I enjoy like talking to someone and getting to know someone, where I feel like I have friends that are working at big law where it's kind of just like, you're a number and you're assigned this and that. And so that's like one thing that I think I've appreciated about having an experience here, is that I've kind of had an idea that I didn't want to go into like super big law, and I think that this kind of reaffirmed that, because I know everyone's name here and everyone knows my name, and I know stuff about everyone, and I've been able to like not only get to know people here on like a work level, but also on like a personal level, and like I can talk to them and ask them how their day's going, or I know what they're doing on the weekends, and like can engage in more of like that interpersonal kind of level, which I think is really important, and that's something that I don't want to let go of, because that's something that I think makes a work environment a place that you want to be in, versus like coming into work and being like, "Hi, John," and then just doing my own thing, versus like we can have a conversation aside from work, but can also, turn that off and have like a serious conversation regarding an assignment and stuff like that. Yeah. That like, I don't know, that's something for me that I like really appreciate.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. While we're playing hacky sack, we can have a conversation while we're playing hacky sack. It's an inside joke. Cool. So, boy, we are way over time. It's like too good of a
I know.
podcast. All right, let's do one of these.
Okay.
You're handed an assignment you've never seen before with a tight deadline. How do you get started?
Ask questions to the person that assigned it to you.
Okay.
Figure out if anyone else has done the assignment.
Not recreate the wheel.
In the firm.
Okay.
Ask them about it. I love asking questions. I would rather ask a question than do it incorrectly. So that would be my first thing. If you handed me an assignment and I had no idea what to do, I would ask you.
Yeah.
Where do you recommend starting?
Yeah.
What outlook should I have on this? Which way should I look at this, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Cool. If you could study law in any country, where would you go?
The UK.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Why? Why do you love it?
I don't know. I just feel like it's similar to like the United States, like London and stuff like that. Like you have the city, but I don't like the city. I need to be like, I like the slow life.
Okay.
Like, so I would probably want to live like a little bit outside of London. But I just think that people are
Marquette's
really
in the city of Milwaukee.
I know.
It's a city school. Yeah.
I know. I wish I would have thought of that before I came. But that's the only part I don't like about Milwaukee, is I just like, I would like to live like out in the suburbs.
Okay.
I like the small things for like I can drive to the grocery store and I don't have to worry about parking.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would want to live like a couple minutes outside of London.
Okay.
Good food.
What's a couple minutes outside of London? I don't even know what the cities are.
I'm trying to think. Only places I've been like outside of London are like Manchester,
Okay.
which I liked.
Because London's just so huge.
It is
right?
huge,
It's
yeah.
kind of like New York in that way. Okay. If you opened your own law firm someday, what would you name it?
Groth 2.0. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I don't know. I would want to do something with my last name, but I don't know if anyone could pronounce it.
Yeah. What would it be?
Maybe I would do like the phonetic spelling of my last name. So
Well, yeah. What are your initials?
OGZ.
Is it OGZ?
Yeah.
OGZ. Okay. I was thinking if it was OA, O's,
Oh, yeah.
OGZ, OGS.
Ogs.
OGS
Yeah.
Law. No, it doesn't really work.
I know.
Yeah, shoot.
It's really unfortunate.
But Oz Law.
Oz Law is
That
good.
works. I like that. Okay. All right. Thanks again. Thank you for all you've done this summer. It's been a pleasure having you here. You've really worked hard, and it's been nice to have the smiling face of the law clerks bringing some extra personality to the firm. So that's always nice to see that. All right. Hopefully, and I know you'll take this energy wherever you go off in your legal world, whether it's real estate, international law, or something completely unexpected. We appreciate everything you've done. And I should have asked you this before. How do you say goodbye in Ukrainian?
It's like the same. I'm trying to think.
It's not goodbye, is it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Goodbye.
Ciao. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks for listening. Remember, growth gets it, growth gets you. Thanks.